This week, a massive announcement hit the headlines. RFK Jr. is released a report claiming that taking Tylenol in pregnancy causes autism.
Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol during pregnancy, can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol is not good.
It's everywhere. It is on news outlets, it's on social media feeds, there's jokes, there's memes, there's even political press conferences. But let's be very clear. It's terrifying if you don't know the science. And I'm going to stop you right here. Tylenol does not cause autism. What this claim actually does is recycle an old harmful narrative. It blames mothers, it fuels conspiracy theories, and it distracts people from what the science clearly shows. Autism is largely genetic. The real outcome of spreading these claims isn't fewer autistic kids. It's more fear, it's more stigma, and more guilt laid at the feet of mums and parents. And autistic people, like me, we're left kind of shaking our heads yet again at another myth that refuses to die. So hi, I'm your neurofabulous friend, late diagnosed, autistic and ADHD, and today I'm finally putting my dusty biochemistry undergraduate degree to good use. Just flick off the dust. Actually, it's over there on the wall, if you want to see it. It's up there on the wall. It is, in fact. So no freebies today. Just free advice in plain, simple language, because I've seen how quickly bad science gets weaponized against mothers and autistic people. So today I'm going to break it down a little clearly with research in hand. So let's get started. We're going to dig into the science, because this isn't just about opinions. We have some of the largest studies in the world looking at this exact question. First up, the Swedish sibling study that was published in 2024. This is not a small, teeny tiny study of like 100 people. We are talking 2.5 million children born between 1995 and 2019. Researchers looked at the kids whose mothers took acetaminophen, which in this instance is the drug in Tylenol, which is a brand name, just to be clear, during pregnancy, and compared them to those that didn't. Now, what's interesting about this study is they've interviewed the scientist who did this study, and kind of in summary, in layman's terms, they not only looked at the mother's self-reporting if they had taken acetaminophen or not, they also looked at prescribed acetaminophen of those parents, and then it's just a massive research study, and it's fascinating, and it's probably the largest in history. At first glance, yes, there was a slight association, 0.09%, or not for autism and 0.02% for ADHD. But when the scientists dug deeper, they asked what happens if we compare siblings. One child exposed to Tylenol, one child not. Same genes, same family environment. The difference vanished. The increased risk dropped to essentially zero. That means the so-called association wasn't caused by Tylenol or acetaminophen. It was caused by family genetics and environment. Heritability. Autism is one of the most heritable conditions we know. Twin studies consistently show about 80% of autism risk comes from genetics. Tylenol, not vaccines, not some brand of headache pill. Genes. Jeepers creepers. Medical consensus backs this up. The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, the Society of Maternal Fetal Medicine, the NIH all agree acetaminophen remains the safest option for pain and fever in pregnancy. And here's an important detail: untreated fever in pregnancy can increase risks like neural tube defects. So avoiding Tylenol out of fear might actually create more danger than taking it. Like, I don't know. So let's talk about the numbers for a second. Globally, around 65 to 70% of pregnant people use acetaminophen at some point. If Tylenol actually caused autism, we'd expect autism rates to skyrocket in direct proportion to that use. But autism rates don't map into Tylenol sales. They map into expanded diagnostic criteria, greater awareness, and genetic predisposition. So the science is clear. There is no causal link between Tylenol, the brand, or acetaminophen, and autism. What we're seeing is correlation, not causation. Storks and babies, shark attacks and ice cream sales. It's all over. Like, it's so ridiculous. So why is this actually so toxic to talk about it? It's so toxic. It's not even just wrong, it's toxic. It blames mothers. Autism has a long history of being pinned on parents. In the 1950s and the 1960s, doctors pushed the refrigerator mother theory, saying autism was caused by cold, unloving parenting. That idea was cruel, it was false, and it caused decades of guilt and shame for families. Oh my God, like just imagining myself as a mother of an autistic child, an autistic mother of an autistic child. The genetics, lols. Like, if I believed this crap, I would feel so shit that I took acetaminophen, paracetamol, whatever, during pregnancy. Like, this is so ridiculous. So fast forward to today, and it's the same script, but with new props. Instead of blaming parenting styles, we're blaming Tylenol. It still points the fingers at mothers. If only you hadn't taken that pill, your child wouldn't be autistic. It's devastating for parents who are already navigating enough challenges. Secondly, it stigmatizes autistic people. Think about the language wrapped around these headlines: danger, epidemic, risk. Rah! Autism gets painted like it's a fate worse than death sometimes. Something that must have a villain. It's not just scientifically wrong, it's harmful to people like me who are autistic and living proof that we are not tragedies to be prevented. Oh, I'm so grumpy about this. Third, it feeds conspiracy thinking. This is not just about science, it's about power. You'll notice that people don't say acetaminophen. They're literally saying Tylenol, the brand, because Tylenol, the brand, is a big, recognizable name. Easy to villainize, easy to sue. Meanwhile, acetaminophen is sold worldwide under hundreds of names, used by billions of people. But the narrative locks into Tylenol because it feels familiar story. Big Pharma is evil. Supplements are pure. Trust this, not that. It's the same anti-vax, anti-pharma playbook, just a new villain. Villain OG story. But here's even worse. Autism was clinically described long before Tylenol was even introduced into society. It was introduced in like 1955. Autism existed long before Tylenol, and it will outlive Tylenol. Linking the two isn't just misleading, it's historical nonsense. So let's just call this what it is: a toxic make-believe story that creates guilt for parents, stigma for autistic people, and noise that drowns out real conversations about genetics and support and acceptance and accommodation. Okay. Now, this is a real kicker. Let's just pull back the curtain for a second on conspiracy theories, because this is where things get like bonkers. There are so many conspiracy theories like flapping around on the internet. And I've gone into a couple of them and gone, okay, maybe. But like realistically, they're conspiracy theories. What humans love is simple answers to complex problems. Autism is complex. Genetics, biology, brain development. It doesn't fit neatly within a headline. But conspiracy theories, they give us a villain, a product, a scapegoat. And that's why people get roped in. It feels easier to believe that autism was caused by one pill than to face the reality that is mostly written into our DNA. And that's exactly the playbook we've seen before with vaccines. First, it was vaccines cause autism. That was totally debunked, just to be clear. And like, it's been debunked over and over. I think that's what's hilarious. Now it's Tylenol. It's the same template. Step 1, find a medicine millions of people use. Step 2, point to a few studies with weak correlations. Step 3, blast it across the headlines and social feeds until people start to panic. But notice the language. People aren't saying acetaminophen. They're saying Tylenol. Actually, I don't think Trump could pronounce acetaminophen.
The FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of well, let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen. Acetaminophen. Is that okay?
Just why? It's owned by a big company, and it's easy to picture this as a bad guy. It's the perfect villain for an anti-pharma narrative. So, I saw another post which I thought was quite interesting, and I don't know if it feeds into kind of the political narrative, but this is one of the conspiracy theories I'd seen, so I'm just going to share it so we can all kind of have a chat about it in the comments if we want to. So, there is a safe alternative, like there is a cure um, for autism, which is around like folates and natural supplements and stuff like that. Now, apparently, Tylenol is owned by one company. It's like a big pharma company. Tylenol, the brand, obviously not acetaminophen because that's owned by millions of brands. Okay, so you've got Tylenol, big brand, owned by one company. There is another company who sells like a competitor product, and that is owned by a person who is employed by Trump. So in my mind, I'm like, oh dear, okay. So it realistically, this isn't about autism at all. It's about pitting big pharma against big supplements, and one side tells you Tylenol, and the other sells you natural medicines. Both sides make money, and autism gets used as a scare tactic to fuel both. It's bonkers. So either way, the problem is going to be that these industries battle for your trust and your wallet, while autistic people and parents get caught in the crossfire. Mothers are blamed, autistic voices are ignored, and the actual science gets buried under conspiracy hashtags. Yikes. So the next time you hear Tylenol causes autism, remember it's just a bad science claim, please. It's part of a bigger narrative designed to hook you with fear and sell something else. So here's the wrap up. Let's get to the bottom line here. Autism is not caused by Tylenol, not by acetaminophen, not by some pill your mum took for a fever. Autism is, in the vast majority of cases, genetic, about 80%. Heritable, according to twin studies. The science is clear. When you control for family genetics and environment, that so-called link between Tylenol and autism disappears. What doesn't disappear, though, is the damage of these headlines. They blame mums, stigmatize autistic people, and pull us into conspiracy battles between pharma and supplements that have nothing to do with supporting autistic lives. As an autistic adult, I'm telling you, autism is not a tragedy. It's something not to be blamed on a brand name. It's part of human neurodiversity. And autistic people deserve acceptance, respect, and support, not another round of just fear-mongering. So the next time you see a headline or a viral post claiming Tylenol causes autism, remember, It's storks and babies all over again. Correlation is not causation. Trust the research, trust your doctor, and most importantly, trust that autistic people belong exactly as we are. And if this has helped clear the air for you, please hit subscribe, drop a comment, share this video with someone who's been worried about those headlines. Let's push the facts, not fear. References down below of all the studies and the science that supports that acetaminophen does not cause autism. You're a fabulous friend. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and check out my videos on your screen for deep dives into autism science, debunking myths, and I'll see you next time.